Hey guys, how are you? My name is Jesus Conde, and today we're going to be doing environments. So let's get started. The first thing you gotta do always is get inspired. So for this time, what I did to get inspired was listen to music from games like Castlevania and Prince of Persia, stuff like that. So I started with a little sketch, really little sketch, nothing fancy, just to kind of get to know what I want to do. I was thinking of a whole like really close, really dark and old, and all this nature coming from outside. Um, Also, I wanted to give the impression that there's kind of a bridge that is built on somehow with wood and stuff like that, ropes, that it wasn't there before, or like time passed and there wasn't kind of there was something in there before. Maybe with some water, the level of water raised, and you cannot see the floor of the thing itself anymore. So there's like a bridge made of wood that somebody or a few people later, I don't know, built it, and something like that. And I wanted to look kind of not magical, but a little bit, like have some kind of energy to it. So I was looking at all these kinds of, while I was listening to the music that I was telling you about, I was looking for all these pictures to see if I could get a window at the end of the hall, like something, yeah, maybe with some glass, broken glass or something. Uh, but the idea changed, and maybe there's something that you never thought before that you can apply later, stuff like that starts to happen. So this was the first sketch, and that's enough for me to kind of start working on it. So I want to become a really good concept artist, and I've noticed that they use a lot of 3D or pictures. I'm not very cool with using pictures the way that I've seen that they use it, but in 3D that's kind of the only way that you can do things. You have to use pictures for textures and stuff like that. So at least I think it's not the same as using pictures, um, to trace. In this case, at least you're trying to make something with them. For example, here I'm doing walls or stuff like that, and I'm going to use some pictures for the water too, but I'm putting them in another element that I'm doing myself, and I'm not using them directly like I've seen that they use. I'm not saying that it's wrong, because I understand that in concept art, you need to be fast, really fast about your work. So I can't understand what they're trying to do. They are more interested in the results than in the way of making the images. So what I'm doing right now is that I wanted to make the impression that there's this new bridge of wood, new, but it had some time too. It's not like it's made yesterday. It has some years. It has some history on it. Like it's broken in some of the woods are broken. Stuff like that. So I hope this process of making the things in 3D is not boring, but it's kind of fun because you're trying to achieve something and you really don't know how it's going to look, but What I like about it is that you can do pre-visualization of the lighting in real in the viewport you can do it in real time, but what I mean is that you can make changes on the lighting before you even paint, and you kind of know how it's about to look later. So that's a really cool thing. That's what I like in the most of this method. Another thing is that if you were working on a on a project, you can use this same this is what you did. You can use it to you can give it to the modelers, and they can see what you made to create that concept. And if they have any doubts of what you did, maybe this can clear things up. In the vehicle design tutorial, I'm going to do something later to see if it works. I'm going to project that concept to the model to see what happens. Okay, so now I'm looking for bricks to put on the walls. I didn't like too much the colors of the bricks at the first time, but there you go. And when you see the textures like that really weird, it's because it doesn't have UV mapping, UV coordinates. You have to create LV, and that's what I'm doing right now. There, putting the UVs. Nothing fancy, just something that looks okay. Now I wanted to look for some wood. I wanted to look old. I was trying to find something with like mug or something. I didn't find anything, but that one was okay. And as it is something for me to start with, it really doesn't matter if it looks perfectly on the model, because I'm going to change it later anyway. I didn't know how I was going to do look the water with the little leaves floating, but it came out okay. I think it looks okay for what I wanted to do. Then I'm changing the spotlight so you can see a different so you can see that there's the light coming from one side. Then I changed the idea, but you'll see that later. I was looking for these pictures to see the colors that they have, and I took a little bit of the color of that cathedral and put it on mine. So now it was going to start looking more like what I wanted in terms of color. I put a light on the inside to see if I can get some kind of a magical look, because the first idea was to make it like a dawn or something, and you have light inside of it. But I didn't like the idea at the end, so I changed it quickly later. I thought about making some kind of a really bright outside, like in autumn, and I was looking for pictures to see if I can find something like I could use. The thing about using pictures is that you are then limited by the pictures that you find. Most of the time they don't match the idea you have in your head, so trying to find something that works is really hard. So at the beginning the light was coming from the back, and you can see the light coming in and make a shadow, and I really liked it. But then I thought, if it's a tunnel, it should be dark all the time. So in a few minutes I changed the position of the light. So I put a light on the inside, and to make some kind of effect, like light is bouncing, somewhere, and it's more illuminated. And I put it on the front because all the light that is coming from the front, I wanted to make some kind of is bouncing more in the front than in the middle. I desaturate a little bit the walls and put a little bit more brown color to the wood, and then I was starting to find that color that I really liked. There I'm thinking and saving my work. I thought about making something like really high in the clouds. I don't know why, don't ask me. But I guess I like the idea of having this bridge of wood just floating, and you don't know where this cave is holding, and you're just praying not to fall down. And it seemed like a good idea at the time, but no, I instantly changed my mind. So using a boolean technique, that's a 3D technique. You can cut the surface by using another shape. So I used this ball, and then I cut by hand one of the columns to make it look like it was cut it or fall down or something. So I cut that shape, put it. I thought I was going to use it later, but you can barely see it. So now I had this hole in the roof, and that's the idea. You keep working on it, and you start to change things, try to apply new stuff. Then I'm rendering, which is a process that takes a lot of time. I changed my mind and changed the light. Finally, I saw the light and put it on the front, so you can see the light coming from that hole in the roof. And then put some lights on the inside to make some kind of bounce, to look like it's bouncing. I already have Final Gather, which is a 3D technique, that a 3D option of the render that uses the lights that you already have and bounce like in a realistic way. But I thought it needed more bouncing, and sometimes you cannot find that automatically with the software, with the render, so you have to do it by hand. And the way of doing it is putting a light by yourself. As there's light coming from behind you, I mean the tunnel behind, it has another entrance, so it was looking like it was coming light from behind the camera. So I put it like a sphere to block that light that comes from behind and have this more of a cave look. I don't know if you guys understood that. But yeah, it's like I close the door that is behind me, so there's no light in, so I can get this darkness inside and all the bounce from the software. Okay, so this is going to be my base for the painting. I don't know how much the render took. Let's see. No, cannot see. This resolution is too slow. I mean, too little for me to see when I'm recording the voice. But anyway, this video is speed up like 5 times, and you can see that it's still kind of slow. You could say that it's slow. Yeah, even the resolution isn't that high. It's about, I don't know, 1000 pixels per 1400 and it's still taking some time. If I could render this image at that speed, it will be extremely fast. But the real thing is that it's 5 times slower than what you're looking right now. So every time you're going to render something on 3D, you can go to eat, take a shower, sleep. There's a lot of stuff that you can do. And if you want to take that time at your advantage, what you can do is study or something, read a book, practice some anatomy, doing sketches and stuff like that, or think of the idea that you're going to apply later. If you have two computers, believe me, if it's more fun. But if you have just one computer, then you are completely just screwed. So this render is about to end, and I'm going to save it in a PNG type of file, so I can get the transparent background. That really light color you see in the background is not there really. It's transparent. And if you save the image in PNG, you can have that alpha channel that is called automatically. There we go. The first time I saved it on TGA, and then I noticed that it didn't have the transparent background, and then I saved it to PNG, and here we go. So I was looking at some videos of Fenzu, which is a really great concept artist. He worked on Star Wars and stuff like that. He has a school on Singapore, if I remember correctly. And so he uses a lot of pictures for the concept art that he makes. And I wanted to see how that goes with me. So I took these pictures from the internet. Sorry for the people that has the original pictures. But yeah, this is about making something new. I'm not selling this video or something. So I don't think I have any problems with rights. So you can see I'm taking these pictures and I'm erasing what I don't like about it. What I need is something to start from. I don't need the picture exactly how it is, so I'm not taking all of it. And see that I leave a little bit of green here and there with the not completely erased. I don't know, like 20% of the image is in there, and you can see I don't use it all. I use just a few pieces. Here I wanted to try something, some leaves that's coming through the hole, but it looked really weird, so I stopped that. Yeah, it was looking so weird. Then I needed something for the back at the end of the tunnel. And I thought, okay, it could be like a really open space, but I didn't thought it was going to look so weird. So, nah. I'm telling you already that I'm not going to keep that too much time. I just put it there to see how it worked. It's important that you match the values and the contrast. What I knew is that I wanted a really dark cave, and then a really bright outside. You almost cannot see what is outside because of the dark, and the light blinds you before you get out, because your eyes are how I say that, your eyes are used to the light that is inside of the cave, not the one that is outside. So when you look at the one that is outside, it blinds you. Okay, so I was saying before, I was listening to Prince of Persia soundtrack and Castlevania, and totally got this inspiration to do this thing. Right there, I was putting more light on that side, and here a little bit more dark. See that I'm instantly painting on top of the pictures. I'm putting some bright leaves in the place that the light is hitting harder. And at this point, I really don't know what I'm going to do about with those plants. I'm just trying to start. You need a starting point. As long as you start something, you can always finish it. But if you never start doing anything, you won't be able to do it. So the important thing is not stop. So those little bright leaves at the right, I thought that it will be cool if there's a little bit of light coming in there, like for those on those holes that the structure has on the sides. Then I put it this kind of a structure to make the window. Sorry, a structure to make the window, but it's about working the whole image at the same time. You don't have to concentrate in one side, in one part. I started to make these kind of shapes, like the ceiling is broken, the bricks, all the stuff. And here I needed the wood to be more illuminated, more burned by the sun. So I put it more bright colors in there, just a little bit, not too much. I thought about making this kind of a tree. I don't know how it's called. Yeah, but like there's this trees coming to the inside of the tunnel somehow, and yeah, they go to the water. It passed through the bridge. Here I just started to erase that background because I thought it wasn't going to work, and I put it like this water thing outside. I don't know how it's called in English, but I don't know. I really don't know the word. I have to look for it. Pantano is called in Spanish. It's like this forest that is underwater, and so yeah, I wanted to make that. Now what I'm mostly doing is just taking the colors that I have. Then I'm trying to make the pictures look less like a picture and put some filter on it. So I hate it when it does look too much like I used a picture. So I wanted to take that because it bothers me. It doesn't bother me with 3D because I made it 3D. But when I use the picture directly, I hate it how it looks. With the plants, I didn't do it too much because I want to paint. I was going to paint on top. So, but for the background that I'm using, just the picture, I hated it. So when I did this circle here, that I'm going to change later in a few minutes. When I made this circle there, I thought that the simple shape was looking cool. It's something from nature, something really old. It doesn't have to be too detailed. There's no rules for that. Well, some people who knows about architecture could say, of course, there are rules. But yeah, I want to make it intentionally simple, so there's like some kind of history there, a mystery. Maybe nobody finished it. Um, Maybe it's supposed to be like that because there's something that's going to be in there later. Anyway, I tried another idea you're going to see later. I needed more burn, but light on that wood, so I did that. I took the color that I already had in there and put in some some specularity on the wood at the end of the tunnel, but it looked more like a reflection from the light that is coming from outside. Then I wanted to make some kind of a gargoyle, some kind of dog head or a dragon head or something like that, or just a beast, a random beast on the walls. My first thought was to make something with light, but then I changed my mind and I thought, well, there is this bridge. How is this bridge holding? And in the first sketch I made, if you remember, I did like these kinds of lines that looked like it was holding the bridge, and I put that later on. I wanted to make something looking like I don't know, a tiger or something, or a serpent or whatever. And I thought it was too much, so it wasn't going to look okay at the end. And every time I put it a simple shape, I like it even more. I tried to put some details on the columns. It didn't work either. So I was kind of blind with this idea. Maybe I should have worked a little bit more from the beginning and try to make some warmer look, put in some orange color. And then I wanted to make that blinding light coming from outside, so I put this glow effect. um, yeah, I wanted to make something that looks tropical, like you are in a jungle, but I don't want it to later I don't want it to feel too much heat, too much warm. Is what I was. All this process was really complex in terms of the atmosphere that I wanted to create, because I mean, it was a jungle, but I I was thinking about it could be something in Europe, and I even the jungles in my country, that is a tropical country, are not that. I think they are not that hot. Okay, of course they are in daylight, but I believe that in Europe or Nordic places, the the woods or the jungles are kind of are colder somehow. Okay, here I found some interesting color and I wanted to use it a lot. Some good color was looking interesting. It looked like a reflection from the ground or something that's coming from behind the camera, like a light or a bounce light or something. And I put it on the woods. I want you to notice how I work on the image, the whole image at the same time. That's really important you remember. Right there I put some color on the woods, on the wood, I'm constantly trying to find that dark inside looking, so I put it some dark in there, some just a dark color to change things a bit. Um, I put it some kind of a fog in there. Um, I wasn't sure about it because I didn't want to look like how I said before. I didn't want it to look like it's really really warm. But I thought that if it was something cold, maybe it should have too. So I left it there, and I put this little thing floating on the air. It gave that kind of a mystical thing going on. So now I'm erasing a little bit of the fog in some places. You can see in there that I kind of made like a plant coming out of the fog just by erasing the fog. And here I wanted to put some dark things on the front, but it didn't look too much. It didn't look too good, so I put it like a 50% and blend it with the one that I with the leaves on the bottom. Okay, here's the part that I put the ropes holding the bridge. Taking the right colors on each stage of the fog, and putting the light ones where it needs to be light because the light from outside is hitting them. So it's really important. So that's where it started to look better for me. At this point, I'm still playing the Prince of Persia. I don't know why the Prince of Persia. I'm talking about the number fourth. I think that's the one I like the most. I played the Warrior Within, but I like it, but I didn't like it too much. I like it at the beginning because all this dark looking thing going on. It looks more like a rock star than a prince. Um, it was cool, but then I mean, I got bored or something. And when the number four came out, I thought it was genius. The graphics were more pretty, and more interesting. The worlds were huge. You can see almost all the complete world that you are about to to pass, and it had this kind of a tune looking thing, and it looked really really cool. Then I'm trying to put some detail on everything. But I was using a brush that I created. It's a really weird brush. So yeah, just trying to match some of the light that is outside, but it's still looking against the where is still looking against where the light source is coming from. So it shouldn't be too light. um, Trying to modify that base of 3D that I made so it doesn't look too perfect, because it's not, you can see that is a 3D image instead of a painting, and you want to try take off that look. I was painting outside because I didn't want to look too much like that picture exactly, so I changed few things, and there we go. Yeah, you can see that in the oh, here is the part where I tried to do something crazy with that shape. It looked cool, but it didn't convince me. I asked somebody for opinion, and he said, I mean, it looks like a symbolic thing, but it doesn't look like it really fits. It doesn't fit in there. It looks like it just put it, and that's exactly what I was thinking about. It looks like I just put something in there, and it doesn't have any reason to be in there. I mean, you already have a lot of nature. You already have a lot of details going on. Why do you want to put more and more detail on it if already it's looking good? So I just left it for you guys to see the process that I that I was going through. But I mean, what I wanted to explain here was that there's a lot of ideas that you have, and you just have to make decisions about them. You could keep it, or you could just erase it completely and start from the beginning. But everything that you do, at least try to finish, because if not, you're going to have like a lot of all these works that you start and you never end. So this is what's going to be with this image. If I continue doing that tree, I was going to lose the I don't know, the impact that it was having on me. I started to do these shadows behind the leaves because of the light that's coming from the top. You can just do brighter colors to make it look like it's light. You just have to make the shadows of that shape to give the full effect. Yeah, trying to find that thing missing. Okay, so I thought, okay, the thing that is under the bridge is water. It doesn't look too much like water. I'm going to put some blue on it to see what happens, and it started to look a little bit better. Um, Here I got entertain painting the wood, the shadow of the of the branch. I was liking it more with the blue under the bridge. Looked more. Mm, looked better. That's no any other word. It looked better. So I'm trying to find the inspiration about this guy, and I'm putting some lines of light on it. And here's the part that I realized that that thing that I made in there, it wasn't going to fit ever, so I just erase it. Trying to define that detail in there. And okay, this is what I got the courage to keep working on this part. There's an effect that it wasn't working, so I tried something in there, but at the end it didn't work anyway. So I just put it some white and put it like a 50% and started sketching the shape. Instantly I got the idea that the rows were holding by the tongue of this animal. And since I don't have rotate, I programmed one key on the keyboard to rotate the image but it rotates like each 90. It rotates like 90 degrees every time you press it. I think the document that opening there was some kind of a um, concept application in some company. I have the document open, so sorry for that. Okay, so I'm making this sketch for the, I don't know what animal it is. Looks kind of like a mix between a dragon and a dog or something. But I wanted to look like something from the ground, because we are talking of a space that is in the ground, is in the jungle. So if you're going to have any elements that is like an animal, it has to be an animal that can relate to this kind of terrain. I think maybe if I was doing the clouds background, I could use some kind of a bird looking animal or something like that. So here we go. It's, it was kind of hard to match. It was kind of hard to match the colors what I already have. But I mean, that's the point. That's the kind of challenge that you want to get on. I put some bounds from the leaves, and then change the opacity at the end. That's one way to do it. Doing this kind of stuff is kind of difficult because you have to make it look like it's made of rock. You have to make it look like it's old. There's a lot of stuff that you have to be aware of when you're doing this kind of thing. Now this part is mostly doing details, so I'm putting some shadows on the wood, stuff like that. I didn't want to make this image really detailed because it's still a concept art, and it's not supposed to be, well, at least depending on the concept art you're doing and the client is asking you for, or the art director is asking you for. But normally they want something really fast just to get the idea, because if they don't like it, they'll, okay, do another one, do something new, and you have to start over from zero and get a new idea again. And if you took too much time, then it's going to be a little bit stressful. Here I wanted to put more blue on it, so I just took a blue color and stuff. I started putting some blue between the wood for the water, and that's it. Added another wood in there, putting some kind of a reflection light in there, bounce. I didn't flip the image this time, as I was working with 3D. I know I didn't have too much trouble with perspective. I mostly flip the image when I think that it has perspective problems. So yeah, this video is about to end. Then I'm putting a little bit of color, like the bounce from the wood, just little tiny details that sells the image a little bit more. It gives more of a finished look. Okay, so I was putting like there's some light on the outside. And then I changed the opacity a little bit. Put a little bit of fog in there because I didn't want to look. And I wanted to look a little bit brighter too. The bounce light again, and this is about to be the end of this image. So yeah. Okay, and at the end, I tried something with the hue. They'll make it. I was trying to make, okay, do I put it less saturation or more, and then I changed the hue, and looked interesting for a second. I wanted to try again. So there's a part that I try something with that. Here it is. I like the blue version. I instantly thought about making this same image in winter, which it will be cool. But nah, then I ask you guys if A version or B version in my Facebook page. But then I decided no, the version is this one, is the letter A. So sorry for those guys that bought for the B version that was like looking more like autumn. I think this one is the version that I like the most. So if you have any question, just write to my channel or write to my Facebook page. And I think this is it, guys. So I really hope you enjoy this tutorial. Yeah. If you guys want to help me or something, these are the ways that you can support me or support my project. You can subscribe to this channel, which is a big help. You can share this video to your friends or in your Facebook page or whatever you want. Share this video whatever you want. If you don't want to subscribe, just share it. You can do both. You can like my page or add me on Twitter to be aware of everything that I'm putting. Every time that I make a video, I instantly upload it, and you are instantly you get that information instantly. And the most efficient way, but is less likely that you do, is a really tiny donation. I don't ask for too much, through PayPal or an Amazon gift card to my email that is in there, is also in the description. So if you do any of those, I will eternally grateful. So thank you very much, guys. This is it. I hope you like this tutorial, and see you next time. Please comment. Bye.